Hi, is seeing a little bit of a delay there, so I'm just going to wait a moment before I start. I'm going to invite you to have a drink of water with me. I'll be probably needing it for my throat. Hi, sweetie. Hi, and welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're joining in is the perfect time for this message. I am Kristi Borst, and I am sharing a message with you today as an integrative mind, body, spirit, emotions healer and an empowerment guide. I am proud to be a contributing member of the Wellness Universe, which is a wellness resource for total well-being. Welcome to those of you who are coming in live, and also those of you who are joining me in your time. I'm going to be not so much focusing on the chat at this point so that I can be in the presence of the message. I will share with you though that I'm going to leave time for Q&A. So I'll read all your messages at that point. And if you're joining in after this live session, I'm going to respond to each of your comments. So feel free to ask questions at that point. You'll know in the description for this live video that there is a disclaimer that I am not a physician, and I'm not providing any medical advice here. I hope to help you connect with your innate peace. If you feel like you need emergency assistance, please contact a professional in your area or your crisis hotline. We want you to be well. So again, welcome, and this message is about finding peace within the ebb and flow of life. And it's easy for us, or perhaps easier for us, to feel peace and calm when we're in the quote-unquote flow. And I want to share a perspective with you that there is benefit, there is peace, there is joy in the time of ebb as well. And as I mentioned earlier, I do need to drink a lot of water, so I apologize for that, but it's part of how I transmute emotions for others. So back in 1985, I started my own business. So I've been self-employed for 35 years. And back in the day, you know, I'd have so much work, and then all of a sudden nothing. And in those times of nothing, or what I perceived to be nothing, I would go into panic. I would worry that my clients weren't happy, you know, I was gonna be, you know, not able to meet my bills, whatever, you know, those fears of, you know, the fears that arise in a place of lack are. And eventually I learned that the flow always came back. And then again, I'd be so busy. So I learned to embrace those periods of the break, to take care of myself, to do things I'd been putting off, to just relax and be. And it wasn't really until the last few years, as I've been embracing more of my spiritual intuition, that I've seen that the flow is not always the best place for us to be. And the ebb is not always the worst place for us to be. Uh, if we're so busy in the flow, doing, 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 and so focused on uh, what it is that's pulling us in every direction, then we're not really always connecting in our peace. We're just busy. And similarly, when we're in the ebb, those of us who are givers may feel at a loss because we're not giving, but it's important for us to also receive. So it's in that time that we tend to receive things. Um, so I learned that, the ebb is to be embraced just as much as the flow. And many times I believe it's in embracing the ebb that we get more easily into the flow. And I wanted to share with you an image. I put it on my phone so I could share it. Didn't know how else to do that live. Um, let's see if I can get this to go the right way. Okay, so as I went to, I guess I gotta go this way. As I went to make my notes for today, I had this piece of paper. I hope it's right reading to you. And the sun was just rising and it came in and it was flooding my paper with this rainbow. And I'm also sharing a yin and yang symbol there, which I'm going to be talking about. And so I took that as a sign that all is well, a sign that I'm on the right path, a sign that my message is going to be delivered perfectly. I don't need to worry about it. So I've learned, this is the other part of getting into that trust of the ebb, is I've learned to look for and see life signs that are sent to us through rainbows, through animals, through the sky and clouds, through our own heart awareness. And so I'm much better now in 2020 at finding and feeling and sensing life's um, energies than I was in 1985. I had no clue. I was not aware of how the universe, God, source, all that is, supports us and how we support one another. And I think that that's part of what's happening right now, is that more and more of us are waking up to that importance, to that space in which we care about each other, in which we realize that the actions of one of us really do affect the other. We're being shown that by a teeny tiny little organism of how connected we are. And, that's a miracle. That's beautiful. Um, so what I want to talk about now is that image of yin and yang, that polarity that we seem to sense, that things are good or bad, or ending or beginning, or there's night and day, there's black and white, but that's not really the truth of what is. Uh, even even black and white are not absolute. And I can remember when I was a teenager and I was taking art lessons and I was trying to do a painting and I wanted to put a highlight on whatever it was I was painting. And the instructor said to me, you have to put a darkness there or the highlight won't show. And it's true. We can't have light without dark. And as I just kind of said, white is not absolute, black is not absolute. If you have a white paper and there's no light in the room, there's no daylight, there's no illumination, that paper might as well be black. If you have a black car and it's in the sun and there's light shining on it, there's going to be a white spot. So things are not absolute. Our mind wants us to have an absolute understanding of everything, but that's where I think we need to have this trust in the ebb and flow of life. We need to have an understanding that things are not happening to us. They're happening either for us, or even more importantly, they're happening through us. Life is happening through us. So, um, whereas I think our media has been focused on kind of sensationalism, not just today, but forever. Um, Conditioning has led us to look at the dark side of things, to look at the negative. Spirit urges me always, when I see the negative, to look for the positive because I know it's there. I seek it out. Uh, so I invite you to do the same. I invite you to look at what is happening right now, what opportunities there are in challenge. Uh, Families are connecting. People are cooking and preparing their own meals. Um, People are realizing the importance of workers who maybe in the past were not valued. Um, Even though we're physically distancing, we're spiritually and emotionally connecting to one another at a different level. Listen to life's messages coming through your heart, coming through nature. Just look at this time, it's spring's awakening. Life continues, life is emerging. Watch animals feel messages through preparing at a different level in your hearth and home. This is a time of Passover and Easter, and I selected today's date because in numerology you kind of add the date together. So today is 4/10/2020, which is the number 9, which is the ending. So I invite you to end that feeling of fear and that feeling of worrying about what comes next, and be here now in peace, knowing that I love you, knowing that there's so much love coming to us, knowing that all is well, knowing that when someone says be safe, it's not because you're not safe, it's because they're expressing their love for you, they're expressing their concern for you. So all is well. I'm just going to take a moment here and look through the comments and see if anybody has a question. Hi, 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 lots of nice messages. Thank you all. So as far as the money piece, there's so many ways that we can be abundant. And if we're measuring our life's abundance by only money, then our life is not in balance. So this may be life. Life is really self-correcting for a lot of us. So I do have a piece, an article on the Wellness Universe on spiritual practices for prosperity and abundance. I can share a link here, but I invite you to read that and just open yourself to feeling abundance in all ways. And as we get to that space of trust and gratitude and knowing that we're going to be okay, maybe part of our challenge here is that we need to ask others for help. And we haven't wanted to do that. So kind of think about that. Reach out to me if you don't understand that or it seems counterintuitive, but um, I've learned this in my own life. The more I trust, the more I know that um, life is evolving. My goodness is here. I just have to look. If I don't see it, I'm looking in the wrong place. So I invite you to do the same and just know that um, this world is good and put your energy, put your vibe out there, supporting goodness, supporting love, rather than living in that space of fear, which robs you in this moment of living in peace and also doesn't help create a world of peaceful beings. So I've gone over time a little bit, but I hope that this has helped you. And there's so many people here to support you. Um, and I know that you've got this. I know that you have the power to shift from that victim who thinks things are happening to them to the one that sees the power is in the choices you make. So blessings to you always. Thank you.